Hidden benefits of the Ford-Tesla deal. Yeah, what the Ford? I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Yeah, everybody hear me good? See me good? And yeah, by the way, the rejects from this pile of AI will be shown at the end, so it's wild. So yeah, I'm sure you have heard that Ford and Tesla announced a partnership by which Ford will be able to use the Supercharger network. Ford customers can use a Ford app to get on and pay their charging, all that good stuff. And how has the market reacted? Well, Tesla's done all right. Nice little bump there. Ford has done all right. Nice little bump there. Everybody's happy. Everybody liked that. Well, not everybody. Yahoo Finance doesn't quite get it. Oh, this is the news Tesla owners have been dreading. Really? This article is pretty terrible. This move helps Tesla qualify for a share of billions of federal dollars on offer to improve the experience of charging. Yeah, Tesla already opted out of that, so I'm just going to stop there because this is terrible, and this link will not be in the description. Ford will use Tesla EV charging, but that's only part of the story. So I'm trying to dig deeper. It's kind of what I got to do. What are some of the benefits? What does Tesla get out of it? Well, we know what Ford gets out of it. They get access to the most reliable charging network that there is. It's the biggest in the US, and it's the most reliable. And it's fun because Jim Farley's been on the news shows explaining that it's great because Ford, the Blue Oval charging network, is the second biggest already, and this will give Ford access to the first largest and second largest charging networks. You guys haven't heard of Blue Oval? The Blue Oval charging network? So this is kind of a neat little benefit here. Ford's adoption of Tesla's charging standard could change the EV charging landscape. The idea is we got to standardize. We have to. In Europe, they did it by force. Rather than letting the best one work, they just decided, nah, we're just going to use CCS, even though it's clunky and expensive and not great. By the way, this picture was posted by Ford. And yeah, they occluded the Tesla logo a little bit in favor of the Ford logo in the middle. Really a poorly composed photo all around. But that's what Chris Farley's cousin does. Yes. Oh, hello, Jamie. Haven't seen you in a while. So what is the Blue Oval Network? Well, it's huge, right? I mean, you guys have heard of it. Really what it is Electrify America, EVgo, and ChargePoint. So when they say we have the second biggest network, what they mean is we have 3 networks which combine to still be smaller than the Supercharger network. So what does Ford get? They get a couple things. They get access to it. They get a selling point. Chris Farley's cousin even said, I don't like the fact that on my road trip, we had to go to second-rate locations and use second-rate chargers. His kids should be the ones making the commercials. And, yeah, it's not great. Ford also gets to keep their data. And that's a big one. Ford doesn't want their customers to have to use the Tesla app to make their payments and do their billing and all that. They want to hang on to that data. And Tesla said, absolutely, we'll give you an API so that you can pipe it through that way and keep your data. I mean, we'll also keep it. But you can keep it too, so that's nice. That's something. It's better than nothing, man, and this is a good deal. And if this does become the standard, which it should, at this point, the odds of the government stepping in and saying, nope, no more NACS, it all has to be CCS, goes way down. Because 2 of the biggest EV sellers in the country, I mean, Ford is also on the list, it's a very short list, are going to be using it. So, yeah, the Electrify America network. It's not great. It feels like something that you wouldn't want. Electrify America has 839 total charging locations with 3,700 individual charging points. Now, this is out of date, of course. Everything always is, all the time. But this isn't that far out. January. Electrify America is that small still. 3,700 handles. Several of which, I have it on good authority, work. How many EV chargers are there? Okay, so ChargePoint is the largest. 27,000 stations with 50,000 individual charging ports. Yeah, these are... Oh, this must be globally. No, is that in the US? Yeah, I find that most charge points are level 2. So these are destination chargers. So if we're going to include destination chargers, come on. Yeah. So, and then we've got EVgo. 140 million Americans live within 10 miles of an EVgo charger. It's not bad, I guess. 850 fast charging stations in more than 60 metros. What I'm saying is these are not the hugest, not the most robust networks. Who is this says, yes, they do have a few that work, but no one knows which ones, including Electrify America. That's true. So what I'm hoping this means, with Ford selling the Lightning, and with Tesla selling the upcoming Cybertruck, that we will finally see pull-through stations for trucks with trailers. I still don't recommend a big heavy trailer, but there are people who will do it, and there are people who have to do it, and it's a real hassle. You don't want to unhook every time. Pull-through charging, the revolution that must happen for EV trucks to succeed. Agree. And I think it's crazy that it's taking so long. But it takes time. And having narrow pull-throughs, so not like this, but closer together, you always risk the idiot factor of somebody clipping the chargers with their trailer. It will happen. I'm sure it already has. Here's an example of a good way to charge while having a trailer. That doesn't seem ideal. Doesn't seem ideal at all. At least this guy didn't have to unhook. All he had to do was block 2.5 spots. 3? 2.5. There's a curb here. So that's not great. This Lightning is used on a farm. It's a farm truck. This charger you can just pull up next to. It's a 1 stall. Maybe 2. Looks like 1. That's a 1 stall. So that's not super great, but it's better than it's better than unhooking your trailer every single time. Tesla is building one of the largest supercharger stations in the Mojave Desert. Look at that, a bunch of pull-throughs. Boy, I don't know how comfortable I would feel with some guy from my office who never hauls a trailer trying to pull a trailer through that skinny little spot. It's a 100 stall. One of the world's largest, 100 stalls. That's pretty good. And what we saw yesterday, we learned that Tesla's opening superchargers, stations at a rate of 1 every 13 hours globally. And I know there are people who love to complain, well, they don't have one where I live. Yeah, that sucks. You should tweet to Elon about that. I've never had success doing that, but some people have. It's worth consideration at least. And yeah, California, super saturated. The drive out to Las Vegas, not too bad. So let's look at their market caps. EVgo, it's worth $1 billion. It has been worth $4 billion, but it's worth $1 billion. Is it really? Probably. I would not invest in it. Market cap of ChargePoint, $3 billion, down from its peak of almost 11. ChargePoint, would I invest? Nope, still no. And Electrify America is a little harder to pin down because it is not traded separately. It is not its own company at this time. I saw a number of about $3 billion, I think. And I think I saw that the Supercharger network, according to Barron's, would be like 30 billion. I don't remember now. It doesn't matter. The idea is it's still the Wild West. It's still in the land grab phase. There's still a lot to go. But getting in on this without having to build it yourself is good. Now, why not just use the Magic Dock? And I guess as boys will be boys, Chris Farley's cousin and Elon sat down and talked about docking and decided it wasn't what they wanted to do. Some people are into that. The problem with the Magic Dock is it is extra cost. It is extra complication. It is extra hassle. Wouldn't it be better to just skip that step completely and just charge? Just have a handle that works. It's a neat system, but again, complicated for no reason. So here's what Tesla gets out of it. In addition to saving money over here, not having to put these docks in around the entire country, they also get data. Because remember, Ford wants to keep their data. And yes, you can have it. We will provide you with a real-time copy of the data. But if you think they're not going to have access to it as well, that's crazy. Because if you're not paying, you're not the customer, you're the product. So if Ford's not paying to be part of this, they're not the customer, they're the product. Now in the poll here, let's take a look at this. Who will ultimately pay for it? Ford will pony up a little bit. Ford customers will pay extra. Both or neither. The data and value works and add value. Now I think it'll be both. I think Ford will pay a little bit, especially to add things like pull-through chargers, which are more beneficial to Lightning today. Ford customers will definitely pay extra. Non-network Tesla charging is already $12 a month or a little bit higher on the per penny rate. So it already works. Oh, it's pronounced data. Thank you. The most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. But all of the data, or one of the datum. It's worth so much more. That's why your Facebook is free. Your Gmail is free. It's worth way more to know than to sell you a product. So, how much money are we talking about? Well, Ford is planning on 40% electric car sales by 2030. This is globally, and this 40 does represent 100% in Europe, where it will be required. 2035, I think, is when it's required. But I think their 2030 plan is 100% in Europe. So, what are we talking? 4 million cars a year? Not all of them would use it. So let's just say it's 4 million in total, cumulatively, or at least 4 million that are actually going to use the network. 4 million times $12 is 48 million a month. So like $500 million a year by 2030 in additional supercharger revenue. Because remember, most superchargers are mostly empty most of the time. Holiday weekends are always going to be a bear, but there are ways to mitigate that. And one of the best is by building more chargers in those congested areas. So it's a little bit of money involved. And remember, the charger is cheaper to build. This is much cheaper than the big clunky CCS. Sandy tore it apart last year. They didn't say what the savings was, but in this article they said, well, let's just say, what if it was $20 a car? That's 20 million a year for 1 million cars. Ford's planning on making 3 million. That's 60 million, even if it's just $20 a car cheaper. It's probably not 20. It's probably more than that. So we're talking real money by switching to just a plain old better charger. So that's a little bit of a big deal. For those of you in the Northwest, I'm going to be at a meet and greet tomorrow, I guess. I mean, it's more of a EVs and caffeine. Monthly community building, answer EV ownership questions, test rides, and road trip tips at Creed Coffee in Vancouver, Washington. The parking lot next to it. It's great. There's a lot of neat people that show up. It's usually a pretty quiet event. It's hosted by the Southwest Washington Owners Club, which is very much a fledgling organization at this point. Southwest Washington's not that big. And I will also be at this. We were talking about this a little in the pre-show chat. I'm going to Michigan. I'm going to Muskegon. And I know you're saying that's not how it's pronounced. But apparently, according to the city council, for their annual meetup in June each year, it is that how it's pronounced. It's official. It's still spelled the same, but it's Muskegon. And there'll be a couple of events surrounding this. There's a top secret event on the 18th and a meet and greet with me on the 14th. That's going to be... Boy, I hope someone shows up. That'd be awkward. So we will get into the Q&A hole here in a minute. Thanks to my patrons, as always. You're the reason I'm able to do this stuff. And there's one more big thing we got to get to, which is the beautiful, beautiful rejected photos that we didn't use. These are the other potential thumbnails. Just beautiful is what they are. The prompt was Elon Musk and Chris Farley in the style of Tommy Boy. And what we got was inarguably a horror show. That's too many Farleys, is what that is. What kind of car is this? I think Ford might build this car. This is terrifying. I love it. I love it. Somebody should build that. This, we got a lot of fingers. We got a lot of fingers. Oh, look, Peter Griffin's here. That came out good. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Yes, of course. Oh, man. The problem is AI is getting so good so quick that these absurd horror shows will soon be a thing of the past. But this is a mess. Oh, no. I don't know what to make of it. It's beautiful. It's magical. It's got everything I want in a picture and so much less. Oh, I'm going to leave this up while we go through the chat, because we've got a few minutes left. We got through that nice. Scenes from a Nightmare, indeed. Buffoonery deluxe. How do I unsee this? Most people are greedy. Ergo, Musk and Tesla must be greedy. Well, I know if I had this kind of power, I would be different than someone else. Yeah, maybe. It's crazy when you see these child stars who get tens of millions of dollars, and it can ruin them. If I had that kind of money when I was young, I don't know what kind of terrible I would be. On Munro's latest video, they said it was 30% cheaper to go with the NACS over the CSS, but we don't know what that price is. I don't know how many dollars that is. Does Tesla make profit margins look so easy that everyone assumes they are greedy and in it for the money? Conveniently ignoring the mission statement. There's a lot of very concerned people. I spoke with a guy on Twitter the other day who was saying, Tesla is shipping cars from China to Canada. This is against the mission. This is against the mission. Shipping the cars is against them. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. If the Canadian market is underserved, it needs to be served. Shanghai is an export hub. Always has been. That was the whole point of it. That's what we're doing. But they should be able to serve them from the U.S. factories. Right, well, obviously they can't. And we know because if they could, they'd have to start exporting those cars or stop production, and neither of those are happening. Fremont and Texas are not exporting anything except the S and X, which are not available from other factories. And the amount of fuel used by a ship to move the cars from China to Canada is still beneficial, considering the alternative wasn't Canada buying cars made in North America. The alternative is Canadian buyers buying gasoline cars. It's a net win. If you say it's not part of the mission, you don't understand the mission. Yes, much less issues with the ports and plugs. the NACS, the Tesla charger port, just works. It's a good system. I'm going to sell my Pokemon cards and get rich. Well, I got these Beanie Babies I'm feeling very good about. You know what I do have? I'm really proud of this. I found a Citroen EV Matchbox. Kind of hard to see there. But it's the little tiny guy. I was so excited. I also got a Rimac Nevera. I know, just show. It's show and tell. That's what we're doing now. That's what this show has become. How's that delisting going? Oh, for Nikola. I think they're going to need to do a reverse split to get their share price back over $1 because the clock is ticking. You only get 90 days before the delisting becomes a bit critical. How many OEMs will not follow Ford's lead on the charging standard? That gives Tesla a bit of power. Who wants to be next? Because whatever Ford paid, you might need to pay a little bit more. Got a new mug too. My chats are being censored. It could be that they only show up in live chat and not top chat. Tesla will still learn patterns. That's the beauty of the data. We'll know how many miles are on your car. We'll know how often you use the charging networks. We'll know a lot. Yeah, change top chat to live chat up in the corner there, and it'll give you more of the messages. Competition going to Superchargers equals Tesla's new ad campaign. Oh, we're so good that everyone else uses us. Oh, I love that. So now being the proud owner of 2 Ford shares, does that mean I get to vote for more pull-through charging? It means you get to attend the shareholder meeting. It means you get to ask questions on say, if Ford uses that. Even having 1 share entitles you to some fractional right. It's a very small fraction, though. Will Tesla drivers be able to use chargers on Ford dealerships? If you could, don't, because traditional car dealers are hostile people. Not all of them. Some of them are very sweet and friendly, but I wouldn't risk it. Do I think it's likely that other car makers will line up for charging? Yes, absolutely. Oh, and Raymond points out that the Canada's EV rebates do not require a North American-made battery, so it's smart to keep the U.S.-built Teslas in the U.S. with U.S. batteries, while the Chinese-built ones can go to Canada and still apply, and still receive the full credit. A week ago, many Tesla fanboys kept saying Ford was doomed. They were going bankrupt. Today, the narrative has changed. They're still in trouble. They still haven't built the cars. They still have a long road ahead. But they also announced a partnership with Volkswagen where they will be co-building and co-branding shared platforms, which is another thing that will help them survive the transition. They also have quite a bit of money, so I think that will also help them survive. Will Tesla drivers... Oh, it'll be fun to watch. Yeah, this part of Tesla's moves to work with others to deter the government from antitrust. Biggest threat to Tesla is government intervention. Quite possibly. The government's tried to intervene unsuccessfully. It looked like in the early versions of the new EV credit that there were some exceptions written specifically to target Tesla. But fortunately, the corruption was so incompetent that it ended up working out just fine. It's a shame that Tesla chargers don't have screens so they can advertise. Such a lost opportunity. I was supposed to meet Ryan on the 13th, but I'm going to be in the air at the time, so that doesn't work. What are the odds that Nikola avoids bankruptcy? I believe their shift to hydrogen, their hard pivot to hydrogen, means they're hoping to attract fossil fuel money, and that could help them avoid bankruptcy. Will the Lightning adapt the Cybertruck fast charging cable also? Boy, who knows? SpaceX launch delayed, so we got 2 hours, so we'll just hang out for that whole time. No, I don't think we'll do that. Oh, Daniel Carlson says, Nicola, 50-50 life support. I assume that's what you meant, Mr. Bacon. Elon said Ford should be able to charge at full speed of Charger. And it should. There could also be validation issues where early attempts to charge Fords were throttled until full specs were best understood. Twitter on the Tesla charger screens? That is a bad idea. Nikola could go bankrupt but stay in business if they go Chapter 11 and reorganize. All right. Well, we're a couple minutes early. The solar panels on Giga roofs. Are these Tesla products? No, they are not. Tesla does not make flat panels. Tesla makes glass shingles. So those solar panels you're seeing are commodity panels from China. And if you've seen my video from this morning with the update on all the factories, there's so much solar that's been added to Berlin and Shanghai. You'll love to see it. Would I invest in a Starlink IPO? Yes. Yeah, I would. I would, but I don't think I'd sell any Tesla to do it. My question is always, how many of Tesla's individual departments, if they were spun off into their own companies, would you buy? Would you buy into their FSD startup, their Supercharger startup, their bot startup? There's so many. Found on Charger dead. It almost works. Yeah, I'd love it more if the solar was Tesla. Tesla only deals in products where they can make a substantial margin, and solar panels are a commodity. They haven't found a way to make panels cheaper than everybody else, so they won't do it. Yeah, can't compete with commodity flat panels. Oh, are the rumors true? Did I kill Bear? No, but I was starting to wonder because I didn't hear back from him during the trip or after the trip. And I finally did hear back from him, and the Turo business is keeping him very, very busy. Yeah, I'm excited to see what gets built over the road at Texas. Why? No one said they're building anything. It could just be a new storage lot. That's a lot of grading to not build something. It's a lot of flat land. Yeah, very, very well graded, very, very level for nothing. Well, yes, as a current Tesla owner, if they spun off the divisions, you'd already own a piece of them. Yes. And I guess I could have worded that better. That was one thing I saw a conversation on that on Twitter where someone was saying, oh, but I hope they don't just spin off the bot division and then we don't get a piece of it. No, you'd get a piece of it. If Electrify America or one of the others went bankrupt, would Tesla buy them just for the locations? Probably not. They don't really do that. Are the locations that good? I feel like it would be such a patchwork quilt of different contracts that they would have to spend a fortune on attorneys reviewing each one individually. Is Brian ever getting a Tesla roof, though? No, I'm in a historic district and I'm covered in trees and I am not allowed to touch the trees. Solar does not work for me. And if I could put Tesla on my roof today, I would not. I already have a roof that's going to last at least another 20 years. And Tesla roofs are too expensive. Too expensive. Need a large warehouse on wheels? Yeah, but not that big. It's so huge. It's so huge, man. The area to the to the west of the highway is... it's probably bigger than the entire 100 acres, 110 acres of Giga Shanghai. Certainly is larger than that. Tesla price increase today may be recognizing its Dojo infrastructure can play in NVIDIA's AI space. I'm very curious to see what's going on with Dojo. It feels like it's time to get an update. Thoughts on the electric camper presented on Munro? Which one is this a new one or was this the Winnebago that we saw a couple weeks ago? Because if it's the Winnebago built on the Ford, it's a dog. What is it, 80 miles of range or something like that? If it's a newer one, I haven't seen it because I've been editing a lot of videos. Can you rename the Fans of Bear Level Patreon to It's Complicated and raise it to 5? I I do need to address that. Large old sound oak trees shading the house, 2-foot diameter branches. Oh, those are nice because when they do come down, they you hear it. You hear it. So, all right. Well, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Thanks for hanging out with me on a Friday. You guys could be doing anything. You guys could be outside. Some of you might live outside. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. Oh, yeah. Jamie points out, I had a Tesla-approved roofer here. He said solar would cost about $60,000, but Tesla solar would be $150,000. The lowest estimate I've ever seen someone get on Tesla solar was for a small installation, a simple installation, and it was still, I think, more than 60. And I've seen people quoted up to 350 for bigger, more complicated roofs, and it's like, that's just too much. The Lightship Winnebago. It looks cool, but 80 miles of range? Come on. Okay, thanks everybody. Yeah, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you clever robots. Maybe tomorrow at this thing? Who knows?